Salute, Knicks Nation. The New York Knicks went down at the Mecca to the Indiana Pacers. A tough loss. We're here to talk about it. CT in the chat. Welcome in everybody to the post-game live as the Knicks unfortunately could not contain a strong offensive-minded Indiana Pacers. Close to full strength. The New York Knicks, man, incredibly short-handed. They're basically their preferred entire starting rotation front court is out. We'll talk about it with the future looming, the All-Star break on the horizon, man. Just 2 games left. We have to hit the road to Houston and we play in Orlando, right? Is Jalen Brunson returned tonight? He looked like his old self, MVP mode, 39 points, but unfortunately the defense suffered tonight big time in the absence of Isaiah Hartenstein. No Jericho Sims included. Of course, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle out, and Taj Gibson had to pick up the slack. And unfortunately, that did not bode well against Miles Turner and co. Pascal Siakam, we know, fam, is an all-star player, as well as Tyrese Halliburton. Got to give the credit to the Pacers today. You know, they showed up. You know, they definitely wanted to get us back for that loss, around a week ago. But it was a very interesting game, right? I'm not getting too down on this situation because, I mean, really short-handed as we are, you know, the guys basically, you know, in the front court, you know, specifically, it was just too much to overcome. Now we saw some great signs from the new guys. Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanović came to play. They came off the bench, and that's where I'll get into my analysis and some criticisms of Thibs. You know, today I really feel like he got it horribly wrong with the rotations to start, as short-handed as we were. Starting Taj Gibson and Precious Achiuwa, you know, you're only 2 big men, specifically, you know, at the center spot. I thought that really set us up to fail. And definitely, you know, we're in a battle. Obviously, at the half, we're down only 3. Tyrese Halliburton heave basically got them up 3. And I knew, you know, it was going to be a back and forth, right? It was really a struggle stopping the Pacers from scoring, right, all game. Just a step slow rotation-wise, because when the big man, you know, when you're giving up that much size and foot speed, I mean, they were just murdering us in the pick and roll, basically. I mean, Taj Gibson's a warrior, right? You know, we already know what it is, right? That's where it falls on Thibs. I think you overplayed Josh Hart a bit as well. And, yeah, quite frankly, I was expecting, whilst I wasn't surprised, I was expecting, you know, the 2 new guys to factor in a little bit more in terms of maybe one of them coming into the starting unit, not both of them, because I don't think that made too much sense either. But, yeah, at least maybe starting Bogey at the 4 and having Precious start, and then you've got another big man to bring off the bench, and then you bring Alec Burks, who did shine late in this game tonight, finished with 22 points. Bogdanović finished with 11. But, yeah, ultimately, I didn't really like what Thibs did. But, you know, obviously, with, you know, that wasn't the number one reason. I mean, we were short-handed again. Once again, you know, we really see the value and the impact of Isaiah Hartenstein, ladies and gentlemen, what he can do. I mean, even Jericho Sims really is the, you know, the third string, you know, behind Precious. But then when you're forced to play Taj a lot, yeah, we really did struggle. Now, 111, obviously, we didn't struggle too much offensively. I thought, you know, that key stretch at the start of the third really did blow this game open, and the Pacers got up by, you know, close to double figures. And we just couldn't really make inroads until late in the fourth, when Alec Burks went basically ham, MJ Burks mode. And I look forward to seeing that more. Yeah, once again, it's all about just getting to the All-Star break, right? Hopefully we win at least one out of these next 2. We fall to 33-20, 13 games above 500. Philadelphia picked up a win today. However, we still have a little bit of breathing room, so we're still firmly in the 4th seed heading into the All-Star break. But we're going to get through the roster moves to come, right? I really feel like the Knicks should have signed a 10-day guy. We spoke to Bill Pedo, and a lot of people are sharing that same sentiment. I know, there's a limited time to the All-Star break, and, a 10-day contract is kind of going to be wasted, potentially, in their eyes, with the All-Star break so soon. But yeah, I mean, this Jericho Sims illness really, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me in terms of, it's been like 3 games now. So it must be something quite more on the severe side in terms of an illness, right? Look, he'll be back at some point soon, before or after the All-Star break. But really, Isaiah Hartenstein, he's a guy you can't really replace, right? Precious had an outstanding start to tonight. Once again, continues to, to be active. 6 of 6. He started the game really well. And look, we're in a battle. We're up against arguably the best offensive team in the league, right? So if you're not on point defensively, you're going to struggle too. So yeah, we are 4th still, and we had 2.5 games on the Philadelphia 76ers heading into today. They won, we lost, so we're at least still a game and a half ahead in the 4th seed. But look, it's all about the bigger picture, man. In the grand scheme of things, we know we're locked and loaded. Leon Rose did what he needed to do at the trade deadline. He got us some help, and they look decent tonight in their first game, mind you, shorthanded. But really is, as we see, we thank MSG Networks courtesy. This graphic is courtesy of them, of tonight's broadcast. So yeah, this paints the picture in terms of all the guys we're missing, man. Look at all those front court players, man. I mean, how many teams in the league seriously can sustain 5 of their top front court players all out at the same time? I mean, it really was a ragtag rotation today. But yeah, Thibs, he overplayed a lineup that I didn't like, which was Josh Hart, Taj, and Precious, Achiuwa. Yeah, and I think with just DiVincenzo and Brunson, right, that put a lot of strain on them offensively. And look, with our 2 new guys, who are very offensive-minded, I thought we could have, sprinkled one of them into the starting lineup. Preferably Bogdanović, who could have started at the 4. The Garden crowd gave our new guys a great reception. Bogdanović drained a couple threes. The crowd loved it, and Alec Burks filled it up late. Did look a little rusty. Did Alec Burks, turned it over a few times. We had him inbounding the ball, and we know that's a bit of an Achilles for Alec Burks. So hopefully we make an adjustment there, fam. But yeah, we're literally doing stuff on the fly. We're playing up against a really good team. I don't think this ain't no reflection on the future. We are a better team than Indy. There's no doubt about it, guys. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, we just got to get healthy, right? Fortunately, Sims is just day to day. Isaiah, preferably, I would sit him for the rest of the stretch till the All-Star break. There's only 2 more games. He is day to day. Now, I know it's still important to try to win one more, split these final 2, and kind of steady the ship. But with this Achilles, right, as you see on screen, once again, courtesy of MSG Networks, this graphic, basically with a sore Achilles, right, it doesn't really get back to, to normal unless you rest it, right? So he just needs a little bit of rest. And I feel like if we sit him in these last 2, and we, give him basically a 2-week, stretch to get that right. So he is way too important to what we do, fam, in terms of Isaiah Hartenstein. And I think we need to be smart about it. Simply, I was kind of expecting them to sit Brunson tonight. I'm not going to lie, it was a pleasant surprise getting, Brunny back. Obviously, he's a baller, he's built for it, and we love him because he hates to sit. But I just felt like it made a lot of sense to sit Brunson tonight. Let Deuce and Burks run wild, as Burks did in the 4th, man, with his pull-up game. But yeah, look, we're getting some positive news on the Mitchell Robinson front. He's going to be resuming on-court activities post-All-Star break, which is really good, man. I just long for that day when we get 2 of our number 1 big men back, Mitch and Hart. As we know, Randall's going to be reevaluated in about 2 weeks from now, post All-Star. And OG, of course, will be reevaluated close to then, man, after the surgery, which is going to have him right for the stretch to the playoffs, fam. But yeah, welcome in the best chat in the biz. Daniel, Buzzer Beater, Will, Almighty Finesse, Walter, J-Dub, and Tony. Salute. Basically, this is the sentiment, man, we all feel. As Tony's saying, we need to get healthy. And I think it's an incredible factor. This graphic on screen, right? You can't ignore it because it's, 5 of our preferred. Well, Precious is there, but yeah, Sims is a preferred backup as well. Basically, 4 of our preferred big men, are all on the sidelines. So there aren't any teams in the NBA that can kind of sustain that. When you look at the quality as well, I mean, Julius Randle, an all-star, all-NBA. I mean, OG Anunoby's like first team all-D. Isaiah Hartenstein been playing like a top 5 center in the league. I mean, to do what we're doing, it's been miraculous to keep us afloat. Once again, I'm still buzzing after the trade deadline because I think we did a great piece of business. We hit a home run, getting some offensive help. But there's a little bit more work to be done, right? 10-day contracts can be signed. Do we need to make use of that? All right, that's a real question right now, guys. How are you feeling about it? Mook Morris, Robin Lopez, to add a couple names. Unfortunately, Bismack Biyombo got signed by somebody, so he's not available. But yeah, there are some guys out there that can just give us a blow. Taj Gibson, he was poor from the field, today. But, gave us what he had, right? He's on fumes right now. And that's where we need to be smart, we just need to be smart about it, So let's look at the numbers, right? But basically, yeah, also this graphic courtesy of MSG Networks. The debut of our 2 newest Knicks tonight, 11 points from Bojan Bogdanović, drained a couple of threes, made a nice play off the dribble as well, utilised his size, going at Obi. He can spot the defensive mismatch. I like his aggression. He did miss a couple shots though. Finished 3 of 10, from the field, so wasn't as efficient tonight, but it's his first game. But he did get to the line a couple times as well, which is good. He was aggressive. And of course, we know Burks can do, play above the 12 points per game, as he did 22 points tonight and shot it well, 50% from the field too. So, look, we got out rebounded tonight, and that usually does not happen. 37 to 49. We got killed, basically. And then, the Pacers, they turned it on offensively, fam, with 30 assists. We did get 7 steals. We were aggressive early, trying to get some turnovers forced. And I think we did a solid job. But we just continue to lose our man, rotating. Hartenstein makes up for a lot, man. And that's all I can say. Fast break points. We got killed. Second chance points. And points in the paint as well. But look, Brunson's return, that's a bright spot from tonight. 39 points. Continues his surge to being an all-NBA guy. Should be in the MVP conversation. Unfortunately is not right now. According to NBA.com, Brunson ain't even in the top 10. I expect that to change, though, at some point. You even got Domantas Sabonis in there, and he's been playing with De'Aaron Fox. So that don't make no sense to me, how Brunson's not there. We're in the 4th seed. And Brunson's putting up crazy numbers, so he should be in the MVP, conversation. And we roll over to the box score. We'll give out the grades, right? But we'll really start to, look at these next 2 games and potential roster moves to fill, the final 2 spots as well. As we know the kind of squad that we've got, to the rest of the year. But 2 more spots are open, and then there's Taj on the 10-day, who just re-signed for his second 10-day as well. So whether we keep Taj or not, if we keep him, We've still got 2 more spots open. If we do not keep Taj after the 10-day, we have 3 spots open as well. So that's a factor, fam. There's plenty of guys out there that can help us in a pinch. Now, I don't expect them, to factor into the rotation when everybody's healthy. So, for those of you that will say, oh, look, these guys, if we bring people in, where are they going to fit? It's basically just going to be, for the short term until OG, Mitch, and Randall are back. Hartenstein's more day to day, so that ain't too bad. It's just something we have to manage too, fam. But look, in the meantime, the Knicks do need to add 1 more roster spot anyways. Regardless, it's the NBA minimum that you carry 14 dudes on a real spot, and right now we have 13. And we have Taj on a 10-day. So we actually do need to convert him anyways if we are keeping him. So, yeah. The injury issues, J-Dub continue to struggle with that at the big man spot. We're cool in the backcourt. I mean, as we see, Deuce McBride, pretty solid tonight, 2 of 4. Alec Burks, 7 of 14. Right, when the game, the kind of tempo was dying in the game tonight, Alec Burks did fill it up and showed what he can do, what he can bring, right? But like I said, I think Thibs made the wrong decision. I think Bogey should have been in the starting lineup, right? He's 34 years of age. He's only missed the playoffs once in his career, right? Regardless of no practice or anything, he's veteran savvy enough to just come into a starting lineup, right? And to play, Hart, Taj, and Precious all together, that's not complementary. That's not a good lineup, right? Anyone who's watched this Knicks team for a minute can see that, and that was just a case of Thibs just being stubborn, going to his familiarity rather than thinking outside the box, thinking about, okay, the Pacers are a high-scoring team, right? And we're already, short defensively. So we kind of knew we were going to struggle a little bit, with only 2 centers, potential centers, makeshift, and you're starting them both together. So that was a poor decision, man. There's no other way to say it. And then that stretch in the third, after halftime, it was only a 3-point game, and Thibs came back with that lineup to start the second half once again. And then when the Pacers extended the lead to 8 or 9, timeout, and I think he brought the same lineup back out again. So didn't even allow Bogdanović to come in or Burks to come in and impact the offense and the scoring to try to keep up with Indiana, because Lord knows our defense wasn't really gonna stop them. With just Precious and Taj, right? Precious had to play 43 minutes once again, right? It's starting to really be a joke. Long term, hopefully Precious can get through this stretch and he doesn't hurt himself, too, fam. But 18 minutes for Taj. I did not like Josh Hart's game tonight as well, as we'll give out the grades. And we'll start off, with the first man, and we welcome back, Jalen Brunson. Always a good sight to see him, suit up. And I really liked our chances of winning once I found out that Brunny was a good one to go, and he looked fine. He didn't really look any limited in any way, right? He was still getting to his spots. He was really aggressive, getting to the cup, posting up Nemhard and Halliburton and Neesmith when he had a chance. It's good to see that Brunson looks unaffected by the ankle too. But look, in the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't have been surprised if they sat him tonight with just 2 games remaining. But I can't get too mad at them trying to win tonight, and do whatever it takes. He was obviously cleared, to play, so you play. Brunson's signature All-NBA All-Star performance, he gets a gold star for tonight. Unfortunately, no game ball. The New York Knicks went down 111 to 125. So salute Knicks Nation. We're about to give out the grades. Before we do that, welcome in everyone who's just coming through the building. Smash that like button. The streets are buzzing. It's all about the future, man. This squad is on an express path to a deep playoff run. It's all about the health. But man, the break has come at a good time, right? It really has. So let's make the most of these 2 games coming up, right? Hopefully we can beat Houston at least. Orlando is going to be tricky. So yeah, let's look at Brunson's numbers as he returned 39 points. Brunson dished 4 assists, was a -7, but hit all 10 of his free throws. So you love that. Salute to JB. 1 of 5 though from the perimeter. Some struggles there. They did guard JB quite well. They mixed it up with blitzing, and then they also put an extra bit of size on him where they could, but there's still no stopping Brunson, man. 14 of 25 from the field, and that's where playing with other guys that just couldn't help offensively hurt us, because Brunson with 4 assists, right? I would have expected Brunson to get a little bit more than 4 assists tonight, playing 37 minutes. He was a little ISO heavy in that third. But again, he was playing with Hart, Taj, and Precious. So that really did bog down our offense, man. And I guess, first game in, I understand they didn't want to, throw, Bogey and Burks out there too much. But, man, I would have split them up. Man, I would have said, look, offensively, we're going to need it. We're going to need the punch with Hart out, Sims out as well. But yeah, man, he continues to trust Taj in a big spot. And it's really, really tough playing with only 2 makeshift centers at best. Both 6'8". Taj might come in at 6'9". But man, that was it was tough because they got the size. But look, nonetheless, man, Brunson was the hero once again. 39 points. He combined with Precious Achiuwa for some great feeds, and basically a guy who was reading the floor, like he was moving the rock when he was doubled. So with that said, I'm going to give Brunson an A. Welcome back, fam. Welcome back, captain. Gold star performance. Would have taken a game ball had we got the dub, but man, he just did not have enough help. And no thanks to Thibs, once again. Look, we're going to talk about DiVincenzo next, right? He had a very solid game. But look, just 2 offensive-minded players in a 5-man unit. It's tough. And we really did get a good start from Precious too. He was 6 of 6. But look, yeah, it was set up to have Bogey or Burks start and push Hart back to his normal bench role. But yeah, I think that hurt us. So, yeah, I expect Brunny to obviously play in the next 2, and we're a good chance to still win out. Hopefully, best case scenario, a struggling Houston Rockets squad, and we're gonna have to put in work though, because we head into their building. Obviously, we don't know what Sims' illness is like. We don't know what's up with that. Hartenstein's day to day, but I wouldn't risk him. I would just sit him for 2 more games, and then he gets a 2-week rest, right? What if he plays and the Achilles flares up again, and then we're kind of back to square one? So, yeah, I would give Hart a bit more of a rest. Obviously, we hope Sims can get back, but I would sign a guy to a 10-day. Let's get him in, man. We have tomorrow off. We have a break. Hopefully, we wake up and we hear that a veteran or someone with size can come in, just for a cup of coffee, man, just to help us out. But maybe a guy who's in the New York City market. I don't know if the Nets waive somebody. I don't know if someone out in the Westchester Knicks squad can be brought up. Just a little bit more size, and length, so we don't have to overplay Taj, too much. But yeah, really like Brunson's game. And once again, I thought he could have got those assists up though a little bit more. Was a little ISO with that. So let's chop up DiVincenzo's performance coming in. He's been the Batman and Robin on any given night. And tonight, right, DiVincenzo went 6 of 15, right, not great, 2 of 9. So yeah, one of those games where the 3-point shooting came back down a little. He was active defensively as always, picking up a block and a steal. And he got us 4 assists as well with 14 points on a -9. But yeah, this Pacers squad, credit to them because, they make it tough with the ball movement. They're good at moving player and ball, and keep you second guessing and all that, man. Shout out Portugal, HP Carlos in the building. Salute. Welcome in, J-Dub. I just hope we get some players back after the All-Star break. Yeah, no doubt we will. The 2 short-term dudes right now are Sims and Isaiah. But I think Isaiah should be rested until the All-Star break. But yeah, both of them should be back, right, until straight after. It's really just Julius Randle and OG and Mitch that'll be out a little bit longer as well. David says, yeah, completely agree. Again, Taj can only give you so much. Yep. I mean, he's really backup to the backup. That's why it was puzzling to me to play, the only 2 guys together. Let us know your thoughts on that. What was your reaction when you found out that Thibs was playing and starting Taj and Precious, knowing that we had no other center available? Well, what if one of them had got into foul trouble, which almost happened? What's up, D'Angelo? Taj is 1 trip away from being in a body cast. Yeah, exactly, man. He's given us all his heart. He was 0 of 4, was Taj, and we'll talk about him, coming up. But yeah, man, the 3-point shooting from DiVincenzo did regress a little bit. Solid effort from the Indiana Pacers today. Look, defensively, they're not a good team. We did put up 111, again, with a limited offensive starting lineup, and to start the third, He did come to his senses and, did play Burks down the stretch. But yeah, I would have got Bogey in there sooner as well. I would have played him a little bit more. I think you need a little bit more threat, right? And look, defensively, it wasn't working, The only argument you would have to start Taj and Precious together is to say, okay, we need a bit more size rebounding defensively. Well, once we got to the second quarter, we could kind of see that it wasn't working defensively. We were all over the shop. We weren't rotating well. We were still getting out rebounded, and that's when Thibs really should have recognized, okay, we're going to have to win this one offensively, right? And let's get some extra spacing, out there, as well. But look, fortunately, Brunson's minutes, he was 37 minutes, so we didn't exactly, ease him in either, But DiVincenzo's been playing really well recently, and he's a guy who has held us down, in more ways than one. A little bit of regression tonight, but still continues to be valuable on the defensive side, right, with a steal, a block, 4 assists, and rebounds as well. Right, I won't be surprised if he's a little banged up as well. He's been playing, incredibly higher usage than what he's been used to, right? And he's also been, fighting over screens, running all over the court where he carried us, in that Dallas game. So he gets a pass 100% and a B for the big Ragu tonight, right? Hopefully the burden on him to score reduces a bit more as well with Burks and Bogdanović in the orange and blue, and I think it will. I think everyone's minutes should really split a little bit more. We should be playing Hart less with these other better offensive players. I've always been vocal. Hart with 25 minutes a night. That's the cap for me. When you overplay Josh Hart, you get mixed results, right? He's a quintessential role player. And when you do overplay that guy, You see some mixed results. You see some good things, and then you see bad. So yeah, I like Hart at 25 to 28 minutes max. And I want to get these other guys in here more, right? I know Thibs is defense first, but it can't be that way every single night. You can't only win games defensively, right? We always said this, but how do you win a ball game? You outscore your opponent, right? Basketball is about putting the ball in the cup. You're not going to win if you don't score more than the other team, right? That's just simply put, right? It might look ugly if you win 144 or 143, but sometimes you need to do that because, the other team ain't caring about defense, man. They're just running and gunning like nobody's business, man. TJ McConnell, man, we're going to talk about him. He continues to hurt us because he knows what to do, right? They push the ball up the court straight away off a make or miss, and that's his role. That's his clear instruction, is to just push the ball up the court. Yeah, and we just had no answer. Obviously, with their aggression, they got floor spacing now, with Halliburton, with Pascal, with Neesmith. And they've got a solid backup point guard with Nemhard as well. So yeah, what's good, guys? Appreciate your buzz. Keep it coming, man. Any questions, observations, and we shout you out. We keep it 100, right? As I said, there's 2 games remaining. 10-day buyout market. Just get somebody in here. Right? I can't wait for Jericho Sims' illness, to subside. We don't really know how long it's going to be. Taj really should be retired if we're keeping it a buck. He's 38. He should not be playing this many minutes alone, which is why it was puzzling when you got a fresh younger guy like Bogey, who should have come in at the 4 immediately, right? But yeah, Thibs tried to be too stubborn, tonight. It's frustrating, right? But look, we're comfortably in the 4th seed still, and we just need to get to the finish line right now. What's good, Joe Long? Salute. It looks like Burks was the best player late in the game. Yeah, Burks finished by far the best Knick in terms of anyone outside of Brunson. Brunson was still the best Knick, but yeah, Burks was close second. Late, got this game a little interesting, but it was too little too late. We got it to win in like less than 10 with 2 minutes left, fam. What's up, Craig? Hart's shooting is horrendous. Yeah, his shooting is horrendous. You're 100% right. But the one thing I dislike even more is the decision making, right? His decision making has gotten quite poor at times. And I understand the nature of Hart's game because he plays at 100 miles an hour. He runs around like a headless chicken sometimes, and that's what he's made up of. And you can't change a player, right? They just got to play to who they are. He gets you offensive rebounds. He gets all those hustle plays. But that's what I mean. You can't play a guy like that more than 25 minutes, in my opinion, because you're going to get mixed results. He's not that steady with the ball. He's not a great, really, decision maker. His role is to play fast, 100 miles per hour. You see him, how many times do you see a man jump and leave his feet without making a decision on what he's going to do? Man, if I counter that throughout the game, how many times Josh Hart does that, I'd be a rich man if I had $1 for every time. He jumps and leaves his feet, and then he's got to throw the ball off the opponent's leg. He's got to throw it off the backboard. And that's what I mean. He's just got to calm it down, man. Decision making, man. It's okay to not run a fast break if there's traffic. It's okay to slow it down a bit. Get into the flow. The thing is, successful teams in the playoffs, right, are generally the best half-court teams, right? That's why I feel like the Pacers will struggle, and that's where I think the New York Knicks really got to get solidified. They've got to get their act together in the half-court, because you're going to see traps, you're going to see zone, you're going to see defenses get back in transition, and that's where Josh Hart's game ain't really a good fit, right? He's good in the fast break, transition, bull in a china shop, Jekyll and Hyde, kind of thing. When he's on, man, is he on, triple double kind of stuff. But when the game dictates, something different, and like I said, we need to slow it down a little bit. I think, Hart's he's not the guy you want handling the rock, so much. Like David says, he's an agent of chaos. Now, I do like when he can, put the ball on the floor and attack a closeout. Lord knows why someone would close out on Hart anyway. Normally they want him, and normally they do tempt, him to take the three. But sometimes he's still, crafty, able to, beat his man and attack the closeout. But that's when the decision making, starts to become poor. He leaves his feet and then he'll just throw it. He'll throw a grenade, to his teammate. I'm cool with Hart taking the open three. I got no issues with that. As I keep saying, that is the preferred play. The basketball reads, that dictates when your teammate is blitzed and you're the open guy. Your teammates depend on you to take that shot. If you continue to pass up that shot, your teammates will get hella frustrated, and that's what's been happening. But when Hart takes the open three, although he's not a good three-point shooter, it's still the right play. And if you're out there, man. You've made it to the NBA, and you're not Ricky Rubio or Rajon Rondo, as I said before. You're not Andre Drummond. He can still knock down the open three, right? Now coming in, man, he's coming off back-to-back triple doubles. So on a night, we're getting on Josh Hart a little bit. I think it was more Thibs' poor decision making. Again, it wasn't necessarily Hart. And his game is his game, right? He has those limitations, as I said. It's the manager, the coach, to put these guys in the right situation. So Hart playing, 35 minutes is another key issue. 2 of 6, 0 of 2. He got us 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Again, Hart's game, he has the ball in his hands a lot, so he's able to do some of these good stuff. But minus 20 as well. Clearly the worst Nick in the plus minus. I think that was due to that, that bad stretch in the third. It really was the worst stretch of this game when Thibs returned after the half with Hart, Taj, Precious. He needed to switch it up soon after that. After the Pacers went on a run, I would have got Bogey in there soon, or Burks. But it goes back to Thibs' trust in a couple of these guys, and that's Taj and Hart. He trusts them a little too much sometimes, because there's familiarity, right? He'd rather trust something he's familiar with, even though it may not always come off. So what are you guys thinking for Hart's grade? I'm going to give Hart, look, I love the 10 rebounds, the 5 assists. But really, a lot of struggles. I evaluate a lot of things in terms of defense, decision making, and the flow of the game. So I'm going to give Josh, for my grade for his performance, a C. Part in Thibs and part in Hart, as well as his decision making. He had 4 personal fouls and 1 turnover. But being the minus 20 really was, that was rough. That was tough too. Old head, salute, says Deuce, Burks, Bogey, Precious, Hartenstein is a very solid bench. Very solid, man. But we'll talk about it and then we'll look at the road ahead later. But I do think Hartenstein will continue to start, fam. Obviously, at the start of the year and when fully healthy, Mitchell Robinson is and was the starting big man. But I think a lot has changed since then. Mostly Mitch's injury. It's a very serious leg injury, and something you're going to have to manage him when he does get back. So I think I could see Mitch coming back off the bench just to start when he does ease back in. It's a pretty significant surgery and injury to his leg. And I think to throw him back into the starting lineup might be a little dicey. But yeah, man, I agree with that bench. That bench look is great. Yeah, Joe, I think Taj, realistically, and again, as we talk about later tonight in the road ahead, with the Knicks 3 open roster spots potentially, I would bid farewell to Taj at the end of the 10-day, this final 10-day, and I would utilize at least 2 of those roster spots, per league minimum, and get 2 younger buyout guys, or 2 guys with experience that are younger, and you put Taj, in the assistant coaching role next season, as that mentor. But yeah, there's no reason for him to continue with a roster spot, I think, for the rest of the season, knowing that we have, younger buyout guys that we can bring in. But yeah, I appreciate he's given us his all, and he's helping us in a tough spot as well. But yeah, Thibs is just overplaying him, right now. So next up is the man coming in from the Raptors trade with OG, Precious Achiuwa. Man, he is stepping up always. His game is evolving as a New York Knick. For as long as he's been here, after a little slow start, he's come alive, man. 6 of 6 to start the game, and then he didn't hit another field goal after that. So yeah, that was signs that the offense just wasn't moving as well. It was quite ISO heavy. But 2 steals, 3 blocks, 6 boards. 3 of them are offensive. Salute. 15 points, but a -12 from Precious. So yeah, we were really outsized, but Precious was given it his all, and a really great performance overall in terms of impacting the game early. And we came out of the gate slow, right? The Pacers didn't get a very big lead, but they were kind of in control at the beginning, although it was a closer game. And then in the third, they took over as well. But yeah, I'm most impressed by by Precious's cutting. As I said earlier, the pick and roll game was awesome with Brunny. And his rebounding continues to be really strong as well. 3 offensive rebounds. We did get out rebounded tonight, but yeah, that was in part because of the size. The size issues. And that. So yeah, my grade for Precious. Such a energizing start, but not a great finish to tonight. But a B+ still. Continues to step up and make big impacts, right, on both sides of the floor with blocking shots, rebounds. Tonight the pick and roll and the cutting to the bucket was good. He is a solid deterrent at the rim, but again, the size is the limitation, man. 6'8", he's not a big guy. When there's a Miles Turner, with him under the bucket, he generally has to pull the ball back out, because he's just given up those few too many inches, man. Yep. Welcome in Christian D. Cool. Salute, guys. Hope you're doing well. We're rocking out after unfortunate loss, but still keeping a glass half full in terms of the bigger picture, because we know we're missing the 4 front court guys. First night for our 2 new Knicks, and we're about to hit the All-Star break, right, in the 4th seed. Still, Philly picked up a win today. Unfortunately, Orlando won as well, but we have plenty of cushion between us and the Magic, and we have a little bit more cushion still with Philly. And we're still within striking range of the Bucks, who continue to lose, and might continue to lose too, fam, with their struggles with Doc Rivers, Damian Lillard on defense. Yeah, too. So yeah, man, Precious is definitely earning himself a future role on the Knicks. I like what he's doing. He's still young. And it just makes that trade even more better with OG, right, and Precious coming in. Right, so far we're getting more bang for buck out of Precious, Uh, and that's by no means any shot at OG. Like, he's looked absolutely awesome, and was doing what we wanted him to do when he was here healthy. The Knicks did the right thing. Again, like I said yesterday, they did the surgery, pulled the Band-Aid off, and they needed to, because we're going to be ready, for the playoffs. So there's only one man left, to talk about in the starting five. As we alluded to before, man, Taj Gibson, the pride of Fort Greene, coming in here. I think it might get to the point where he might have to push back to Thibs. I think if Taj is realistic on his limitations, I would have liked him to have a word with Thibs and say, look, just maybe he did. Right? I can't speak for the man, but maybe he's just a good soldier out there. He gives what Thibs asks. But if I was Taj tonight, I would have just pushed back a little bit and said, hey, man, just have me come off the bench, man. I can bring that energy off the bench, and you throw Bogey in at the 4, or you want to start Hart at the 4 and you push MJ Burks at the 3. Either way, we needed to get one of these two new guys into the starting lineup tonight. I think bringing both of them off the bench in favour of having a lineup with Hart, Taj, and Precious, just wasn't the right ingredient to win this ball game. Tonight we needed to outscore Indy as well. So, man, Taj finished playing 18 minutes, was 0 of 4, got us 3 rebounds and an assist. Didn't shoot a 3-pointer. 2 turnovers. Sorry, no turnovers, 2 fouls, and a -1. So, yeah, he's a warrior, continues to lay it out there for us, but hopefully this is towards the end of him at least playing meaningful minutes or major minutes. On that note, I'll give Taj... Actually, I'll... let me adjust that, because I gave Josh Hart a C as well. So I'm going to give... I'm going to change Taj's grade to something different, man, because we really didn't get much production. We obviously got Hart and energy out of him. So let me fix this up, man. This is bugging. Yep, there we go. C- for Taj. C for Josh Hart. But yeah, missed a couple of bunnies. Right, not gonna lie. That's when Taj is losing his touch around the bucket. He's normally quite solid with the post up moves and all of that. But man, Father Time is undefeated. He don't even look like the Taj from 2 years ago. When he did flash that nice spin post move and finish around the bucket. He's just lost his touch right now. But yeah, he shouldn't really be out there, right? Playing up against a high tempo, squad. And that's another reason that Thibs, cooked up a stinker tonight, on that note. So let's talk about Deuce McBride next. Actually, no, before we do that, let's start to hit on the new faces of the squad. MJ Burks. First up, we got our look at MJ's return. Alec Burks coming in, solid, middle of the game, but better finish to the game as well. Had some questionable passes, got 3 turnovers, but I think he's going to be a little bit like that. He's going to be aggressive coming off the bench, a little bit like Emmanuel Quickley's role. Be aggressive at all times, look for his shot. And he was in jack mode throughout tonight's game. The underrated skill to Burks' game is getting to the foul line as well, with his size and aggression. He does like to lean into his opponent, when he's putting up that floater game. Tonight he got to the line, 4 of 4. That was good. 4 of 7 from deep. 7 of 14 from the field, got 2 boards and an assist, 22 points, and only a -4, man, in a 14-point loss. So yeah, he was a flamethrower today. Coming in only averaging 12 points per game. I expect that to go up. And maybe Bogdanović is 20 points per game. That might fall down a bit, just due to him, looking like his role is going to sit in the corner a little bit, and Burks is going to handle the rock. So yeah, I think the scoring averages might actually come closer. They might swap. Burks averaging 12 coming in, and Bogey averaging 20. Bogey might average maybe 15 with the Knicks, 16. Burks might start averaging 15, 16 as well. But yeah, good to see him, I guess get his feet wet is the most important thing. That's all tonight was about, really. I would have loved to see him or Bogey start. But considering, Burks and Bogey, coming off a bad team, coming straight in, playing, significant minutes with the new teammates, I thought they looked pretty decent, really for a first up game, especially the way Burks finished the game as well. Got to cut back on those turnovers, but hey, he was efficient, awesome from 3, 4 of 7. His pull-up threat is good. Like I said, his ability to get to the foul line is also a really good skill set. 4 of 4 from the free throw. So yeah, he was taking it strong, to the rack towards the end. Yep, David saying tough to watch Taj when he's clearly gassed. Yep, absolutely. D Cool says tell Thibs to play 9-10 man rotation. Yeah, tonight, obviously for that to happen, man, it would have been Toppin's brother, Jacob, or Charlie Brown. But yeah, he definitely could have extended the rotation a bit. I felt like his biggest mistake was just the starting lineup as well. And yeah, running a bad rotation out there with 3 guys that aren't offensively a threat, really. Clawvin Salute says, I don't trust Thibs in the playoffs, and Burks always in the jack and shots mode. Get used to that, man. I think, as I said, Burks is going to take on that quickly kind of role where, the offense is going to run through him with the bench, and he's going to look to find, Hart maybe cutting. He's going to look to find Bogey in the corners. We wait to see how it's going to work with Deuce McBride. Do they play off of each other? Does Thibs cut the rotation even more come playoff time, down to 8 players? It's going to be interesting, fam. We'll see. Obviously, OG, when he's healthy, he can guard some 5. So there's a real world where Thibs can go 8 men in the playoff rotation and not even play a backup center. Because you've got Burks, you've got Josh Hart, and Bogey. Right, they're the 3 locked-in guys that are going to play minutes off the bench. But if you look at it from a Thibs vantage point, he doesn't need to play Deuce. I would prefer that he do. But he's got Burks to run some action, and then he's got Hart, and then there's Bogey. And then, there's going to be Precious as well. Obviously, when Randall, iHart, and OG's back, there's Precious too. And then there's Bogey, and then there's Hart and Burke. So he has to play 9 man. Unless, Precious gets cut out altogether as well, which I don't see that happening. But I won't be surprised with Thibs. Really, you give him these versatile guys like Burks, Bogey, and OG. We can really get by with small ball lineups as well. Obviously with Randall and Isaiah. As well, and then where the Mitch, situation is a big factor, in this as well. Mitch has got to do on-court activity first, and then we see how it looks, too. But look, all in all, man, B+ for Burks' first game, solid. Don't expect anything more, don't expect anything less, man. we might see some turnovers, we might see some hot shooting stretches or some stretches where he gets cold. But he was one of the best, pickups available that we could have got, to help us with that kind of quickly role. So yeah, I think it was a great pickup. We just, he's got his limitations. We keep it moving. This other guy, man, boy, is he gonna factor in to this season and down the stretch, right? I love the quotes of these guys coming in. They looked, refreshed, re-energized in the press conference, talking about them, looking forward to their roles, doing whatever it takes to help the Knicks win, and being, bringing their experience to the squad. Now, Bogey, his first game as a Knick, he splashed those couple of threes that you're going to see more of. 2 of 6. 3 of 4 from the foul line. Once again, he was good at getting to the line. Capitalizing on Obi and some other Halliburton, some of those smaller guys guarding. 3 boards, an assist, 11 points, -10. Right, 3 of 10. So missed a couple of open shots, but yeah, the crowd, the energy was there. The crowd was going lit when he was about to let it fly. But yeah, all in all, I like the fact that he got to the cup and drilled a couple of threes. Right, we're going to see the best of Bogey to come in 32 minutes as well. Defensively, he wasn't great, but he was okay. I think he's going to be a player that's going to hold his own. He's a decent off-ball defender as well. He just can't move as quick as he used to. Obviously, he's going to turn 35 in April, but he can hold his own too. But yeah, he's here for the floor spacing, for the insurance right now. Maybe stepping in to the starting unit at some point before we get OG and Randall back. I think at some point, even post All-Star break, obviously OG's not going to be ready straight away. Maybe Bogey, after a couple of games, getting familiar with the system, he might hopefully come in to the starting unit before OG and Randall get back as well. Alec Burks, please keep him on the bench, right? He's that bench piece. That's his role. He knows it very, very well. But yeah, I really feel like Bogey can play the OG role in the starting unit. He plays, off ball better. He doesn't need touches, spaces the floor out, but he can attack the closeout, and he can get to the cup, as well. So with that said, man, Bogey's first game as a New York Knick, he's hyped to be here. He said a lot of his people, Croatian community is big in New York, and also, he's got Knicks friends as Knicks fans as well. The Croatian community excited. He's excited to be here. His first game as a Knick, I'll give him a C+. Pretty solid. Again, would have loved to see him start or Burke start, one of the two. But yeah, look for Bogey to get into that starting lineup, I think, before OG and Randall get back. Because yeah, we need a little bit more offense, a little bit more floor spacing, and I don't like Josh Hart starting. I just don't like it, man. You're right. It's like way down on my to-do list is to start Josh Hart, especially with Randall's out. So you're going to be playing either Precious at the 4, somebody else. Yeah, it's just tough right now, dealing with these injuries. But look, we'll get by, man. It's all about the bigger picture, man. I'm excited to get this at least the 4th seed, home court, and make noise when it comes to the playoffs. Now, let's hit on Deuce McBride, right? Buzzer Beater says Bogey played Fournier type D. Did you see the full game? Yeah. Look, he's not the quickest guy. And he's not a plus defender. But I think he's better than Fournier. But look, that said, the Pacers are a tough team. They're quick. They move it up and down the floor real quick. as well. Joe says at this point we can move, in my opinion, Devo, Burks, McBride, Hart, Toppin, Achiuwa, Mitch, Bogdanović. That's 8 guys to ponder a trade with. In the future, I don't think Devo's going to go anywhere. But yeah, Burks could be in a future potential deal. I don't see them trading Hart, man, either. But look, we never know, man. In a blockbuster deal, that might be something later down the track. Burks C- for buzzer beater. Yeah, you're a bit more harder on these guys. I know you're a little bit not sold on the move. Burks's game. Let's keep it moving. Christian says the Knicks streets are buzzing. Are a team of their own, man. When healthy and in the playoff, need to keep and bet in all those picks, and we have a bright future ahead. Yeah, look, we're staying afloat, really. Look, the 82 game grind is really something to play smart. That's why we see these teams, rest, load manage some of these guys, and we really are playing hard, and we're banged up, as a result, right? But it's a give or take. We don't have the record we do if Thibs doesn't really push these guys. But at the same time, I feel like he could be more smart about it, right? He could have got Randall out of the game in Miami sooner, regardless of the score. He could have got, he could have sat some of these guys a little bit more, right? It's a double-edged sword, really. We're sitting here with a great chance to make it in the 4th, 3rd seed. Every New York Knicks fan would have signed up for that to start the season, right? But it's come with its knocks, man. So Deuce McBride's minutes, man. Tonight, Deuce was 2 of 4. Missed his 2 threes though. He tried to pull up one of those corner threes. I felt like that was a little off balance. Got us offensive rebound, 2 total. 8 points. 6 points. -7. So yeah, Deuce's minutes might start to really come down a little bit, man. 10 minutes tonight. Obviously, Alec Burks was handling the rock a little bit, and I think that's a preview of what's to come, right? Is that we spoke to Bill Pito also, and he feels like that could be the case, moving forward as well. Thibs loves what he loves. I think today was that classic example, man. That Tom Thibodeau. Right, you give him those people he trusts, and he's gonna rock with them, and that's the Harts, the Tajes, the Alec Burks. Look, we wait to see what happens with Deuce, when everybody's healthy. But boy, is he stepped it up this season, and he's just been an awesome piece, for the New York Knicks' future as well. He's developing well. Hopefully, I really hope he continues to, to see those minutes. He can defend well, and he's good off the ball as well. He can catch and shoot. So I feel like he can play with Burks. I feel like they can play alongside of each other as well. If there's anybody's minutes who really does need to get cut, obviously Taj at the top of the list. When everybody's back, he shouldn't even play. But Josh Hart, man, I would really cut his minutes down a little bit more. You got to squeeze Deuce in there a little bit, man. You need shooting. Let's keep it a buck, man. The NBA is about shooting. You need players that can space the floor out, man. I don't want to see the defense cheat and leave our guys wide open, right? And we know Brunson, he's just going to continue to get trapped, hammered, blitzed, and all of that. And we need good outlets. We need good decision makers as well. So I like Hart in a 20 to 25 minute role, but not anywhere near 30 or 35. That's when everybody's healthy. That's madness, man. So, yeah, man, 8-man rotation, man. No Charlie Brown, no Jacob Toppin, right? He rocked with Bogey, Burks, and Deuce off the bench. He ran the big men into the ground. So the next man up, before we start to look ahead, man, and talk about some of these roster moves, is the coach, Thomas Thibodeau. Man, I kind of said what I needed to say already at the start of the show. I felt like it was the wrong starting five, the wrong allocation of minutes tonight. And I feel like, this is one of Thibs' bigger disappointments for me. One of the bigger mistakes of the season, so far. Not that I could have guaranteed we'll win this game anyway. I feel like we were really up against it with a lack of the big men, and missing all of our guys, right? All of these players, you see on the screen. But no team in the NBA, and I preface this critique by saying this again. No team in the NBA can really sustain long-term these kind of injuries to the front court. We go down the list, man. OG Anunoby out, reevaluated in 3. Julius, reevaluated in 2. Mitch, out post All-Star break, resuming on-court activities, which is a plus. But I think we'll ease him back in, hopefully. Again, he's dealing with a very serious leg injury. And a big man who's 7'1" with a history of injuries. Please don't rush Mitch back. I've seen that story not end very well so many times. And then we've got Jericho, who's day to day. It must be some illness, man, because it's been like 3-4 games now. It must either be COVID. It must be I can't even speculate, man. It must be some bad virus, food poisoning, whatever it is, man. Hope he gets well. But he's day to day. And he's situational still normally, and even he can't go. So that's how bad we're down, man. And then Hart, who's been the pillar of our defense since the day Mitch went down with a sore left Achilles. Kind of good thing is that that's day to day as well. It's not something that's going to keep him out for a long time, but it needs to be managed well. We need to be smart, and I would keep Isaiah out until after All-Star break. Man, there's no point bringing him back with just 2 games, right? Sign a guy on a 10-day, right? So, with that said, man, before we look at the road ahead, I'm going to give Tom Thibodeau his grade today. And that is an F, man. He failed us today with a bad decision. I mean, a 38-year-old Taj Gibson starting when you have a younger, fit, better offensive option in Bogdanović. And then you overextended Josh Hart again. I feel like you started the third, you didn't make a good adjustment and change the lineup after the Pacers went on a run. And as I said earlier, we might have still lost the game, but I think we would have had a better shot, at winning this game tonight, fam. So that is what it is. Now we look at Houston, Orlando. We've got two games coming up that I think we can win. But I would sign up for a split right now. I would sign up for a split because it's key. We just head into All-Star break with hopefully one more win, and then we do get some of these guys back healthy. Yep, salute. What's good? Okay, it seems like the chat sorted itself out. I didn't see what was happening, fam, but keep everyone in the chat, right? So Mod Squad, appreciate you for helping us as always. If there's some spam or something disrespectful, do reach out, let me know. But it sounds like it was in error. Yep, all good. Clawvin says Taj played more minutes than Deuce. Unbelievable. Exactly, man. That's why I had to give Thibs an F, really. I mean, Thibs just can't control himself at sometimes, man. And the more I think about it, the more angry, upset I get. really, man. That's why even if I was Taj, man, I would have pushed back and said, "No, don't start me, man. Like I'm not it." Like Taj is humble, and he's even said this before. He don't even expect to be in this situation, man. You know, he should not have been starting tonight, even when you only have two centers available as well. So it just doesn't make sense, you know, for me. But yeah, look, Brunson, welcome back. Great performance. And look, after All-Star break, we're going to have Isaiah back at least. Sims will be good by then, and we'll be okay for the big man spot in that instance. And then Mitch not too far behind. But it's what we do in the interim, right? We need to get a 10-day, you know, signing, a contract signed, I feel, in the interim. Because, yeah, these next two games, let's assume Sims is going to miss as well. Hart and Stein. Why not just make use of another 10-day? You know, the 10-day will expire. And we do have the spots. Right, we have 2 open roster spots available. Now, I posted the graphic, you know, the New York Knicks roster. Let me bring that up on the screen as well for anyone that hasn't seen it. And look, you know, we do have Taj on the second 10-day. I won't be surprised if once that lapses, we leave him out. That is a possibility, and we sign 3 new guys. Right, that is a real possibility. For me, look at the Robin Lopez potential free agent. Look at Mook Morris. I think that's worth exploring as well. He hasn't been picked up yet, just on a 10-day. But even those guys do make a little bit of sense as a reserve to keep around long term. You know, I've been very vocal about this, that once you get to the playoffs, all bets are off. Like, you know, there's potential injury concerns, you know, and all of that. That you know, you might deal with. You know, there is guys that, as we see, can tweak their ankle. You know, and that's why I think we should utilize this roster spot. I'm thankful the league puts a minimum, because you know some of these teams are going to get too smart for their own good and try to, you know, short circuit the system and have less guys. You know, so we do have these open roster spots, and I think we need it more than ever, right? Even in a very, very, very short space, you know, in time. Let us know your thoughts as I try to get this graphic up right now. It's coming. Once again, smash that like button. The streets are buzzing. The Knicks in the 4th seed, and we're about to look at the standings coming in. But here we go with the roster, fam, and the spots available. You see it on the screen here. So yeah, this is what I feel like a rotation might look like as well when everybody's healthy. Obviously without Mitch though. So that's the great unknown right now. I can't really, you know, answer that question. With Precious playing so well, with Mitch healthy, that means there's 11 guys when everybody's healthy, if you're including Deuce McBride. So again, that goes back to the point that maybe Deuce McBride really loses minutes completely if you want to play Precious and you want to play Mitch as well. There's no circumventing that, man. There's 10 guys right now when fully healthy, and then 11 with Mitch back. And then obviously Sims, he's situational. So yeah, Sims is situational. I think when everybody's healthy, he ain't getting back. David says Toppin could have given us some minutes. He played decent D on Luka the other night. 100% on a night like this. Toppin scored 40 in the G League yesterday as well, or the day before that. And yeah, I think that is a case of Toppin should be able to give us some minutes. 40 in the G League. He's a very fundamentally sound player. He's more fundamentally sound than Obi Toppin, as we saw in some instances tonight, man. So yeah, I like Jacob Toppin. I think he's something to keep for the future as well, definitely. And he'll continue on that two-way. But yeah, Mook Morris, Robin Lopez, who are the big men might get waived. If another point guard gets waived, I wouldn't be against it, but I'm kind of thinking that the organization won't do it now. With Burks, with Deuce, literally, if we're in a world where Deuce might not get any minutes, then there's no need to even bring in another guy. So yeah, we might see a lot more of this, man, moving forward. We might see a lot more of Burks running the point, much to the chagrin, man, of Knicks Nation. That's going to be, that's going to be a real talking point moving forward. Fam, as I bring up the standings now, and I will refresh to see where the Knicks sit and how many games breathing room we have in this spot. I think, fortunately, we have that little bit of breathing room on Philly, so that's helped us. Now, here we go. We're still in the 4th seed, which is good. Despite Philly winning, we're still 1.5 games in the clear. So that's very solid. With 2 games remaining, again, ideally that we do win against Houston or the Magic as well. We are 5 games clear of the Magic. 4 games clear of the Magic, so that's solid. So yeah, we do have a bit of breathing room on them, so that doesn't matter. We are firmly in that fight for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and possibly 5th. Really, if we don't get healthy, we don't correct this. Obviously, the Pacers catch up a little bit with the win over us today, but again, we still have a 4.5 game cushion on the Pacers, so that's great too. Thankfully for this huge stretch that we went on, the big run, 9 in a row, after getting OG. That's big time. Buzzer Beater says we're going to have to exercise patience with these new additions. It took James Harden 8 games to acclimate. 100%, man. You're spot on with that one, man. And I feel like especially a lot of those guys are going to be high usage. Alec Burks, as we know, if Deuce isn't playing, he's going to have the ball a lot. And then obviously Bogdanović being a key offensive piece off our bench. He's going to be scrutinized, because his job is to help score. Hart's job off the bench isn't going to be to score. Neither is the backup big man. It's going to be the point guard, whether it's Deuce, Burks, and it's going to be Bogey. And Hart to give us a little bit of energy, fast break buckets as well. John Salute. This game is proof Thibs can't make adjustments until they get a head coach with a clue they're going nowhere. I've got concerns, in the playoffs, definitely. But I always said, get Thibs a better roster and then he'll have his best chance to try to win. And I think there's going to be a big, a watchful eye for me, in the playoffs for Thibs. Now that we've got actual help, we've got a solid, deep roster. We need to learn how to make the right adjustments. Even if you lose a player or two, as you said, tonight proved that Thibs can't get out of his own way, really. I mean, the trust is deep with the guys he loves. And going back to the roster here, fam. Right, with the 11 guys, when Mitch is healthy, if we're taking McBride, if McBride's minutes go away, then that's really going to, maybe upset some people. He's been playing really well. Alec Burks running the point off the bench is going to be pretty erratic at times as well. I like Burks off ball, personally. And I want to keep Hart's minutes below 28, 25, ideally. Hell, Bogey showed tonight that he can run some action as well, coming downhill. Right, so that's another guy that I would prefer to run the action a little bit more as well. But yeah, he should have started tonight, not Taj Gibson. We'll see what happens, in the playoffs, right? It's going to be a case where we're going to need to make adjustments, because if you go to the third round or even the second round, you're going to have faced adversity. Teams can scheme on you, game plan, and they also know what your tendencies are as well. So the way the Knicks win, we'll obviously have to shoot a lot of threes. We space the floor out, and we need to rebound, right? We need to get the bigs. And I guess we're noticing that's how key it is for Thibs' systems, right? To have two bigs, and that's why he loves Precious, who rebounds. That's why he loves Josh Hart, as well, who rebounds. But look, man, I'm really happy with the first part of the season. If I had said we'd be 13 games over, let's hypothetically assume we go 500 for the next two games. We split Houston and Magic, and we head into the break 13 games over 500 in the 4th seed. That's where we need to be. But as John alludes to, the playoffs is going to be a whole nother system. It's going to be a whole nother battle to start the postseason, right? The guys are banged up, really. Whether it's because Thibs has left them in too long, that's one thing. It's also another thing is because he plays them hard. They play really, really hard. And we get a good regular season record because he doesn't rest anybody. He plays them. He doesn't load manage at all. Well, so you take the good and the bad regarding that. But my biggest fear with Thibs here is adjustments. That's the biggest thing. And as I said, I would have hoped that Taj had pushed back a little bit today. Maybe he did. I don't know. But, normally a lot of these veterans that, are very understanding of their limitations, right, they should speak up, as well. But look, I get it. It was Bogey's first game in New York as well as Burks. I was just surprised that one of them did not start. So we have the Magic. So we have the Mavs pulled off a big win. The Pelicans look like they'll beat the Blazers. The Clippers pulled off a win. So did the Nets. As I said, Philly, they beat the easy beats, the Washington Generals, and they're 1.5 games back now. So they've got 2 less wins, and they've got 1 more loss than us. So I think we're kind of pretty safe heading into All-Star break in the 4th seed. But like I said, hopefully we win these next 2, right? Because you can't take your foot off the gas. That's the big thing, fam. The Cavs continue to win. So I've looked at the Cavs' deep forward schedule, and I think it's going to be tough to catch the Cavs in second. Not that I don't think we're better than them. I think we are going to be a great matchup against them. But I do feel like their schedule is really easy, and I feel like they're just going to keep winning. And as we see once again, it's going to be tough to catch a team that's got 3 games in hand on us now, and they're just going to continue winning, I assume. Recognizing the ball they're playing, Spiders on an absolute tear. They're getting healthy now. And we're waiting to get healthy. But the good news is The Milwaukee Bucks are there for the taking, man. We can get the Milwaukee Bucks 100%. Only one game back after all the things that we've been through. We only have one less loss, one less win than them, and one more loss. So one game back of the Milwaukee Bucks. They did a little upgrade in terms of a defensive backcourt player, Patrick Beverley coming in, but I don't think that's going to move the needle, man. I think they need a lot more out of Chris Middleton. Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez aren't the same. They're getting a little older as well, and I think also the factor with Damian Lillard, man. Offensively, they're okay. Defensively, they're gonna run into some trouble, man. Wouldn't it be cool if the Pacers fam get? Wouldn't it be cool if the Pacers stay where they are and the Bucks also, and we get a Bucks versus Pacers first round series again, and then we have a Knicks hosting Philadelphia. Let's say Philly finish in 5th, we finish 4th, and we host the first round series against Philly. That'd be poppin', man. That'd be great. Obviously, Joel Embiid's knees is going to be a thing. That's not going away for the rest of the season. I think that's going to continue to be a factor. But yeah, I like the chances of the Pacers upsetting the Bucks. Right now, what is the ultimate goal? We need to try to get the 2nd seed to avoid Boston until the 3rd round. So that would be the dream, man. But yeah, what do you guys think? With 3 games separating us and the Cleveland, I think we're going to go on a big winning streak again when everybody's back. But I just think that the Cleveland Cavaliers will continue to win because, man, like it just seems like they've played the Wizards 100 times. They continue to play the Bulls. They play Brooklyn. They play Charlotte. They play Detroit. And quite frankly, they're better than all these other teams anyway. They're going to beat on the Heat, the Bulls, the Hawks, the Raptors. The only teams that the Pacers might pick up a couple of L's against is the Celtics, us, maybe the Bucks, the Pacers, maybe at times Philly, but that's 50-50. They'll probably continue to beat the Magic, and the rest of their West Coast games will be maybe 50-50. But yeah, shout out to Cleveland. They're, they've been very, very solid. I think, this season, and if they get the 2nd seed, that'll be well deserved. But if we're shortly behind them in the 3rd and the 4th seed, that sets us up, to get to the 3rd round still. But we got to be good, man. We got to be healthy, and we got to get Thibs, pushing the right buttons, too, fam. That is going to be key. But to tie a bow on today, man, we got our new guys. They got their feet wet. Alec Burks, very, very solid performance. Bogdanović was just solid, but did show what he can do in terms of putting the ball on the floor, getting to the rim, getting fouled as well. He's going to be a big-time shot maker and a floor spacer as well. 6'7", he can guard 3s and 4s. Alec Burks, it's going to be fascinating to see how Thibs utilizes him. Does he, play him over Deuce McBride more if he wants to cut the rotation down? We'll see. But the priority for me, as of right now, is to get a 10-day big man. Right? Don't mess around. Right? We can't afford to play Taj again against Houston. Too much against Alfred Sengun. And also Jeff Green, Uncle Jeff. And they've got Jock Landale, another 7-footer as well. Right, so we can't see a repeat, right, of tonight in Houston. So my keys to that game is to get a 10-day big man. Even if it's quick, a cup of coffee, I don't really care. It's just to see us through. And then after the All-Star break, Hart and Sims should be ready to go, man. And then the cavalry right after them. The cavalry. right after them, man. And yeah, as John and Buzzer Beater are talking about, yeah, our roster is very similar to, and Buzzer Beater mentioned this salute, to the old school Thibs Bulls teams, where you grind it out. You've got your one offensive-minded point guard, a la Derrick Rose in Jalen Brunson, and then you've got some hard-working guys and pieces that fit, as well. So yeah, this is the deepest roster Thibs has ever had. There's no doubt about it, and that's why I'm going to be more, more critical, more, evaluating what he does, with this squad, because you don't get that many chances in the NBA, right? This ain't the boys' club. This is, this is the real thing. No boys allowed. The NBA. It's a case of your window can be very small. Also, when the window does open, you need to seize the opportunities right now. And I feel like we can beat the Cavs in a 7-game series. I feel like we have what it takes to beat Philly, the Bucks, and all of that. And I think all eyes point to maybe an Eastern Conference showdown with the Boston Celtics. But for us to even get to that point, we have to push the right buttons and make the most of the roster we've got. When everybody's back, when everybody's back healthy. Obviously, it's up in the air, right? If Randall's out longer, then obviously you're really going to have to tinker different lineups with Bogey probably starting at the 4 at some point, or OG at the 4, Bogey at the 3 at some point. While Randall continues to heal. But look, Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitch, as good as Precious is, we're a level below. We're a step down defensively, I think. Yeah, and I think that's the priority. Buzzer, in terms of who is out there, I would have preferred us to get Bismack Biyombo, who's got the size and experience, but he was just snapped up. So for me, I think a guy like a Robin Lopez, who's just got that extra size, like he's a mountain at 7 feet. Now he's a bit of a stiff. I'm not gonna lie, he ain't great, but he's a guy who can use his size to deter shots at the rim. He can rebound. He can rebound well as well, fam. So yeah, I do feel like Robin Lopez makes a lot of sense. Marcus Morris more for the playoff run, not just the 10-day. And I feel like that makes a bit more sense as well. You never know if another guy goes down again. We might need some bucket getting at the 4 spot. But I just know the Knicks aren't going to do that with Josh Hart here. They want to make sure Josh Hart gets 30 minutes for whatever reason. And they want to continue to play him at the 4. If guys are out, small ball look. Hart even doesn't like it. He keeps pushing back on it, right? He doesn't want to play the backup 4 as well. So I doubt our chances of getting Marcus Morris Sr. are very high. But look, man, we'll wait and see, because it's a case of the roster here on screen as I bring that up. If everybody's healthy, it's crowded. Regardless of what we got to do with the league minimum 14th roster spot, and then Taj's, uncertain contract future without the after the 10-day. It's a crowded rotation, right? If there's a world where Deuce McBride ain't getting any minutes, then the likeliness that they're going to bring in another veteran that's going to, hope to play a bit, ahead of Hart, ahead of Bogey, ahead of Precious. I just don't see the Knicks doing that, although it does make a little bit of sense for the now, because we're so banged up. Yep. What's good, AP in the building? Knicks have a plan for the worst case scenario and assume they're not getting their guys back. I expect them to lose this game tonight. Yeah, I think the 2 new guys brought in were definitely insurance, in case OG and Randall can't come back sooner as well, or if they miss games in the playoffs as well. that is the advantage of being this deep. The unfortunate side of things is if everybody's healthy, you're really going to have to push the right buttons, man, and get the right rotation. I want us to cut Hart's minutes down big time, man. Get those minutes cut down. He's a great role player and a player who, will leave it all out there when he plays. But yeah, you're going to get mixed results, man, when J Hart's out there. And especially you can't play him in poor offensive lineups as well. You need more spacing. I like Rashawn Holmes. As Buzzer says, Rashawn Holmes, I don't know if he's out there at the minute. But yeah, just somebody, man. Just a body. Yeah, in the next week, to see us through to the All-Star. Because Isaiah Hartenstein and Sims will be back. Now, if Sims was healthy tonight, I think there's a chance we could win. I think it's that he makes that much of an impact because he's younger. He sets great screens. He rolls hard. He plays above the rim, and we got bodied tonight a lot. Taj can't play above the rim, man. And not only that, he missed 4 bunnies around the rim. Too, fam. So yeah, even without Isaiah, even if just Sims wasn't ill, I think we have enough bodies, man. But what I suggested, Buzzer and Chat, before is Westchester as well. There's got to be somebody in the system, like who was here before. Dmitrio Skapantsev, was a dude we had before. We gave him a deal, and then we waived him again. Maybe we bring him in again. Let's see. Yeah, he can handle the rock a little bit. He can shoot and finish around the cup as well. He's a 28-year-old vet. He put up numbers in the summer league. So yeah, I would not mind him on a 10-day. Gafford got dealt. So yeah, I think you're sort of getting thin right now in the buyout market. I think Robin Lopez might be the best available guy, man, in terms of just being NBA roster quality, even as a backup. Yeah, Mike Boy says Jacob definitely should have got some minutes tonight. Yeah, I feel like with the 8-man rotation, definitely banged up. Yep. Yep, and also we miss Randall's elements, definitely. His abilities to break down the defense with his size going downhill, is key as well. But yeah, look, I do like our looks against half-court teams. We're just a really poor matchup against the Pacers tonight with some slower guys. Also a couple new guys figuring things out. Right. This game was close at the half, 3 points. The third quarter did us in, man. Yeah, Thibs didn't make the best adjustments. Yeah, McBride is limited, as we know, and that was one of the bigger reasons they made this move for Burks, a player who can handle the ball and score as well off the bounce as well, with a little bit more size, I think. But I believe Deuce is still deserving of some rotation minutes, even when everybody's healthy. Now, keeping it a buck, even in the playoffs, Deuce was only going to play no more than 10 minutes, right? In a cutthroat, must-win, do-or-die, game-to-game playoff situation, there ain't no way that Jalen Brunson is playing any less than 38 minutes. So that only leaves 10 minutes anyways for a backup guy. And maybe that's being generous because maybe Thibs is going to play Brunson 40, in a cutthroat do-or-die playoff situation, elimination type stuff as well. So yeah, I kind of get it. If he does cut the rotation down to 9 in the playoffs and Deuce gets cut. But as you guys see on the chart here, that would mean Precious gets cut too, because if you're trying to play 9, if Mitch is healthy, you ain't not playing Mitch as well. And you've got to play Bogey, you got to play Hart, and you've got to play Burks. So, gun to my head right now, I think a 9-man playoff rotation is the top row, and in the second row it's Burks, Hart, Bogey, and Mitch if he's healthy, and Precious just becomes situational. But yeah, man, there's a lot of water under the bridge to go because we don't know how Mitch is going to come back. It's a very serious injury, like I said. You've got to wait to see if he can, his feet or his legs can be pain-free. There's a lot of weight that he's carrying. It was significant surgery as well. For a big man to come back, it's going to take some time, man. I hope we do ease his minutes when he's healthy. But yeah, let's get this 10-day, this big man spotted, man. Terrence Ross, man, he's on the couch right now. Yeah, he hung them up last season or the season before that, fam. Yeah, nobody picked him up off a buyout, so he announced his retirement basically. Now he might change his mind. We know a player is not always fully retired, but yeah, that's where he's at. Yeah, we go as far as Jalen, really, as well. Yeah, he's our MVP candidate. But I think him and Randall with floor spacing, when we went on that 9-0 run with OG, I think that just proved we could beat anybody because the sum of the parts together, they fit really well. Isaiah's rebounding and hustle, Mitch's shot blocking and rebounding as well. You can give all the jump shots and looks to Randall and Brunson, and then Devo playing off ball with OG. And I think everybody knows their role. Everybody, those guys, the leaders, the Robin and Batman, they can just jack, and everybody just stand around, and be ready to catch and shoot, in the corners and rebound and cut as well. Now, it's going to be tricky in the playoffs because teams will try to figure out something. They'll switch up the coverage on Brunson. They'll blitz him and trap him some possessions, and then they might not. Then they might go zone. They'll do a few things, but that's the benefit of having OG and Devo and the shooting available now. And then obviously our bench is, very, very strong. I'm very confident in our bench. Look, to be able to get the points up. Now, we're going to have some very good situational guys. If Precious and Deuce aren't in the 9-man playoff rotation, then they're going to be great guys to have come in if there's an injury as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the 2 roster spots. Well, realistically, 1 league minimum. They might just convert Jacob Toppin to the 15th, or they might just run into the playoffs with 14 and save a little bit of money, I think, there. Although I think the league will charge you for an empty roster spot anyway, right? There's a set fee. So, yeah, there should be no reason they don't fill both spots, really. And maybe they just keep Taj for the locker room kind of guy, as a situational, as well. Yeah, Mike, Taj is on his second 10-day now. He just re-signed for a second 10-day. 19 comment. Yeah, I thought about DeMarcus Cousins. Well, he's overseas right now. I think he's playing in Puerto Rico. He's playing in Puerto Rico, or he's playing in Taiwan, I think. But yeah, if the NBA came calling, man, I think he'd come. The thing is, man, I just don't see it happening. If he's willing to come for a 10-day, then absolutely. But yeah, I think after the All-Star break with Sims and Hartenstein back, I just don't see them getting in a guy like DeMarcus, who's probably not going to factor in after that, you know. But yeah, maybe after they get word of Mitch's recovery and how that's doing, that might lead them towards getting backup, getting insurance on that. But yeah, I thought about DeMarcus Cousins definitely, man. People talked about Dwight Howard as well. But yeah, I don't really think they're Thibs guys. I think at this point, I think they want to keep Sims. That he's a young player. They want to give him an opportunity. I mean, right now we could do with anybody, but the thing is, it's not going to last very long. We've only got 2 more games left. We've done the heavy lifting. If we split the next 2, I'd be fine with that. If we lose 2 of the next 2 as well, I don't think that would be the end of the world, because we're going to head into the All-Star break in the 4th spot. Right, that's solidified. We have a 1.5 game, basically 1.5 cushion from Philly as well. So yeah, after the All-Star break, we'll have Hart back. We'll have Sims. We'll obviously have 2 games with the new guys. We won't be playing Taj, hopefully. And then Mitch is going to do on-court stuff. Yeah, it's going to get real interesting, man. The clock's ticking with OG's rehab too. Yeah, help's coming. Fam, I know it's ugly, it's frustrating right now. But yeah, help is coming, man. As we get ready to wrap this thing up. Right, we'll be live once again on Monday night after Houston. Appreciate everyone for rocking out. In regards to Rokas, he's comfortable in Europe, man. I can't see him coming unless it's maybe another year or 2. Unless he can get bona fide backup minutes. But they gave Deuce McBride the long-term contract. So yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath, man, with Rokas. But if and when we're ready, he's, a New York Knick. We have his rights. No other team in the league can sign Rokas. So yeah, at some point his agent is going to call the Knicks and say, hey, he's interested in coming to the NBA. Is it a yes? Is it a no? If it's a no, can you release his rights? Can you trade him, or can you release his rights so that he can sign with somebody? Eventually that's going to happen. That, he's only 23, 24, and he said it's a dream of his to be in the NBA. So I think it might be a case of like another guy like who was another guy who came into the league at a mature age? Yeah, one of those other European guards that might come in at 25, 26, 27. But he's achieved a lot already in Europe. He's won the Euro League with Barcelona. So yeah, it might be another year until he's ready. But yeah, he's still around. Yeah, he's still here, fam. But we're still here. That's the main thing. We ain't going nowhere, fam. The streets are buzzing. Smash that like button. As the Knicks are still 13 games over. In the 4th seed. We got guys coming back. And boy, do we need them. Man. As the first guy to come back will probably be Jericho. Whenever this illness, day to day. Hopefully he's alright. Isaiah Hartenstein, just day to day, makes sense to keep him resting. Let that Achilles thing, subside. 2 weeks of rest, he should be Gucci. Then the big Mitch Robb, post All-Star break, will start doing some things. Right, you're going to be posting on Instagram, so look out for that. And then the 2 big dogs, Julius Randle and OG Anunoby, right? That's the real cavalry coming, right? The 2 starters, all defensive wing and all-star Julius Randle. We need them in the front court together with Isaiah and Mitch, and we're a problem for the rest of the league, right? Ain't no one can check us with those 3, 4 front court players, right? It takes this squad to another level. And we just got to get those guys back, right? So salute Knicks Nation. Peace, health, happiness. And we'll be back Monday night. Salute.